Alright Teddy, when you're ready you can start.
Good afternoon. Today my name is Teddy Latham and today I will be presenting my magazine that I've created for A-Line Productions. The magazine itself will be called String. It will be a guitar tutorial magazine that will be fresh for the market and also provides and fills in one of the gaps that is currently in the market for a guitar magazine. This is the target audience that I've created. The audience will be, the age will be quite wide. It's mainly for anyone that particularly wants to get into guitar, as well as experienced players as well. And it's also so other people can enjoy interviews with guitarists already that have already become famous and how they've gone into the series, how they've gone into guitar and how they've become famous as well. This is the main rivalry for my magazine. The main one will be the magazine called Guitarist, and their circulation last checked was around 25,000 copies. This is the magazine I plan to overtake for the market, just so that I can make a profit for A-Line Productions. For the ideas for pricing, it'll be about $3.99 or £4. That hasn't been set in stone yet, but that's cheaper than Guitarist, in that Guitarist is selling their magazine at £5.75 already. So that will provide a cheaper alternative while still managing to create the same quality. For a subscription appeal for people wishing to subscribe to the magazine, which will be coming out monthly, I've planned to give hidden interviews with other exclusive guitarists, as well as perhaps giving out raffles and competitions for gear and albums already that haven't been come out yet or are planning to come out. We've gotten an extra album or two for free early on. So for the product description, the colours for the magazine will be dark brown, black, possibly for that colour scheme, just because that's what the colour scheme seems to be already for most guitar magazines. Usually, also the cover photo will be of a guitar, probably close up, perhaps including an amp as well, just because that's also what guitarists tend to do. The format for the text will tend to be more formal, just because that is for the that's for the guitar terms and terminology. But it'll still be also accessible for others to be able to pick up the magazine and read it easily without any struggles when it comes to understanding the vocabulary. For content, it will be interviews with the magazine, with artists that would like to come in for the magazine to do those. Also, we'll be giving out gear reviews, possibly competitions of, well, for the unique selling point, obviously it will be exclusive interviews with separate artists, guitarists that will be included in the magazine, just because that will give it more of a appeal to more hardcore fans, as well as showing that people that are just starting out guitar know that famous guitarists also had to start out somewhere, and they'll be supplying tips for the group for guitarists as well. This will be an example for the tile for the fonts, as you can see. It hasn't been set in stone quite yet, just because it's still going through production, but those are just ideas for it so far. For an example for an advertiser is Psycho Entertainment. This happens to be a large music label and record company, and this group will allow us to get more album previews, being able to get interviews with other artists as well, so that we can learn from them and so that we can get tips from them. For budget and costing, it'll be, again, the pricing hasn't been set in stone yet. It's either £4 or £3.99. For the example I've given, it's £4. We will make a loss in the first year just because of the sales. It won't be as popular initially coming out. The graph shows what approximately we'll be making up the profits for the first year. About 30 pages of the magazine, maybe 25, will be adverts. That will be pricing around £5,000 for a page. In year 4 or 5, if we approximately will be getting 200,000 copies sold, with the pricing being about £4, that should give us a revenue of £9,600,000. That will be providing a profit for A-Line Productions and for us as well. The legal requirements, obviously I have to make sure the name for the magazine hasn't been copyrighted already. I need to copyright that myself so that it's able to be used by me. Obviously we need to get a license to be able to make sure the magazine is able to be sold in the UK. And yep. Overall, I think that this magazine could make a very large profit for A-Line Productions, and also I do have faith in this, and that I think this is definitely filling in a rather niche market, and also so that it also fills in a gap in the market, as there aren't that many other guitar magazines that are specifically for guitar. It's usually just music. Are there any questions?
Okay, yeah, thanks Teddy. So I've just gone through your idea for string, and it looks a strong idea. Few issues and ideas that I just want to address, really, if you can just clarify. So for the content, you talk about interviews with artists, gear reviews and tips. So specifically, what will it be about that content of the magazine in terms of tips or the guitar industry that will, because with your budgeting figures, you talk about an increase from 20 to 200,000 over 5 years. So specifically, what in that magazine do you think will make it unique and stand out and keep customers coming back?
I think one of the main things would probably be exclusive interviews, just because they are exclusive interviews. Nobody else will be having them, it'll just be us. I think also because the gear tips as well, it'll show what gears it'll show what gear is good for new beginners as well as experienced guitarists. That'll help them out. It'll give them ideas for how to improve, as well as tips for playing guitar. It'll help new players and it'll help experienced players. That'll make them keep coming back for more. So they can keep learning.
You mentioned exclusive interviews. So exclusive with who? How do you plan to get that exclusivity?
Well, for example, we could always go for interviews with guitarists, so we could go Mike Dirnt from Green Day or perhaps Murdoch from 2D. We would have to get in touch with those people so that we could organise the interview, and also so that we could make sure they have time for them, as they might be busy recording music or things like that, as well as making sure we pay them for it, because obviously they would want some sort of reward for doing the interview.
Yeah. That leads me on nicely. So you mentioned some artists like Green Day, and in the advertisers you mentioned Psycho. I just wanted you just to think, did you think Psycho were potentially the most appropriate, given that they're a record label? So was your idea to have artists in there and just artists advertised, or would you want products, guitar products, amplifiers? Would you? Who else do you think would be good to advertise?
I think definitely guitar producers, guitar manufacturers.
Mm-hmm. Such as, can you give me any brands or that you approach?
I couldn't give you any brands off the top of my head.
Yep, no
I
problem.
apologise for that.
It's okay.
But I do think guitar producers, manufacturers, amplifier manufacturers would definitely be a good opportunity to get advertisement for the magazine as well.
Okay. Last question. Two more. You didn't really touch on online. So have you got any ideas for using social media or smartphones or a website in terms of content?
I think the magazine definitely needs to touch on that more. I think that's an area we haven't quite developed yet, but it is something that we plan to continue in the future and develop into.
Okay. And what would those ideas be? Do you have any?
I think perhaps a good app for the magazine would be a good idea. Perhaps establishing a website as well would be a good idea, as well, so that the magazine has an online persona on it as well. Obviously, we'd still need to run that by, still need to think about these sort of things, because we wanted to focus on making sure the print magazine started off well as well. But we haven't quite thought about that yet. That's something for the future that we can definitely look into.
Okay. And last thing, in terms of the handout you've given us, the typography, if I don't know if you could just move it back to the typography slide, just so we can have a look. Yeah. So you've got a number of titles there and ideas. The title string works well with the guitar industry. On the handout you've given us here, it's quite a serif type. But looking at those there, I guess you've got that top left one that's a little bit italicised serif. Is there one there that stands out to you that you think you would want to use in terms of creating a brand?
I think if I was to pick out a specific that I think I would prefer, I think I'd go with this one here, just because it's a bit more professional. It's not too loopy, I suppose, for want of a better word. It's not too out there, it's professional, it gets the message out, I suppose.
Okay. Alright, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.